Okay, let's start with A. We're going to solve using the substitution method. So what we're going to do is we're going to say let u equals x minus 7. What's inside this bracket? Now you can call it anything if you want, just not x. So we've got u squared minus 4 equals 0. 4 comes over to plus. U squared equals 4. So u equals the square root of 4, which equals plus or minus 2. So now we sub in for u, so x minus 7 equals plus or minus 2. So x equals 7 plus 2 equals 9, or x equals 7 minus 2 equals 5. Now part B, we sub in u for that, so we say let u equals x plus 1. So we've got 6u squared plus 17u plus 5 equals 0. And that's in the form of a quadratic equation. We can't simplify it, so we do the a, c on b and b. So we've got a times c is positive 30, b is positive 17. So this one's pretty easy to work out. The two numbers are 2 and 15. And so we write 2 in here and 15, but we've got to divide by 6 on both sides, and then factor it down. It's 1 on 3, 5, 2. So we've got 3u plus 1 times 2u plus 5. So u equals negative a third, or u equals negative 5 on 2. So now subbing in u equals x plus 1, we have x plus 1 equals negative a third. That's the same as saying x plus 3 on 3. That comes over as a minus, so we get x equals negative 4 on 3. And then we've also got x plus 1 equals negative 5 on 2. This is like a 2 on 2. Bring it over. We get x equals negative 7 on 2. Moving on to part C. So if you just have a closer look here, you see this is x to the 4. Now what we can do is we can say u equals x squared. So then we've got 6u squared plus u minus 15 equals 0. So that's a familiar quadratic equation. So we go ahead and look for the factors. 6 times negative 15 is negative 90, and 1. So this one's pretty simple. We got 10 and negative 9. They both add to give 1 and multiply to give negative 90. So we've still got to divide by 6 because we've got 6 out the front of the u squared. And then we break that down to 5 on 3, negative 3 on 2. So now factoring, we've got 3u plus 5 times 2u minus 3 equals 0, and then using the null factor we get u equals negative 5 on 3, or u equals 3 on 2. So subbing in for u, we've got x squared equals negative 5 on 3, or x squared equals 3 on 2. So we can't take the square root of a negative number, so we won't look at that one. So x equals plus or minus the square root of 3 on 2 equals plus or minus root 3 on root 2. And we don't like leaving the root 2 on the bottom, so we multiply by root 2 on root 2. So we end up with x equals plus or minus root 2 times root 3 on 2. And that equals plus or minus root 6 on 2. Okay, looking at part D now. Let's substitute u for those values. So u equals x minus 3 on x. So then we've got u squared minus 4u plus 4 equals 0. Straightforward quadratic equation. So multiply to give 4 and add to give negative 4. So that's negative 2, negative 2. Now the coefficient in front of the u squared is 1, so we don't have to break that down any further. So we've got u minus 2, and its perfect square equals 0. So u is equal to 2. So x minus 3 on x equals 2. Let's multiply everything by x to get rid of the x on the bottom. So x squared minus 3 equals 2x. And then we bring that over to get it in the quadratic form. This one might actually be classed as a complex familiar or borderline. So we need two numbers that multiply to give negative 3 and add to give negative 2. So that's negative 3 and 1. We've got x minus 3 times x plus 1. So x equals 3 or x equals negative 1.